on the tone, less than 5. Ooh, Lewis gets a little sideways. Ty tries to take it over. Lewis drives over the top and they bounce. Tangle up at the front. It is Chris Henthorne taking that battle for second and third as he takes the lead. Ty up in the second. Jeremy third. Tony in fourth. Doc fifth. Lewis down to sixth. Keith in seventh. Mark in eighth. Well, Henthorne trying to check out, but Ty having no part of it. Bono in that third spot. Tony Longtin in fourth. Doc up the fifth. Lewis in sixth. Keith in seventh. Mark in eighth. They've stretched out just a little bit now. Oh, trouble for Lewis. Upside down again. Falls to the back of the pack.
5 minutes left.
So that moves up Keith and Mark up a spot. Watch it down the straight. Go low at the end of the straight. Low at the end of the straight. Doc having trouble. Falling from fifth to eighth. Ouch. Oh, the leader upside down. Chris Henthorne. So that puts Ty in the lead. Chris in the white in second. Tony misses the corner. Keith gets a position. So Keith now moving up in the fourth. Ty and Chris battling it out, putting some pressure on each other. That's going to let Jeremy Bono close in on those top two drivers. As Keith Lewis moving up in the fourth. Looks like Mark Thomas in fifth. Tony in sixth. Oh, Tony getting caught up with Lewis. As Doc in that eighth spot. So your battle, the blue and yellow.
Four minutes left.
All right, Ty out to about a half a second lead over Chris. Jeremy Bono in that catbird seat, in that magenta and peach. Ty in that blue and yellow. Chris in the all white. Keith Lewis about 3 seconds back. Mark Thomas about a second and a half back. Lewis 0.8 behind Mark. Tony 1.8 behind Lewis. Doc 1.2 behind Tony. Leaders starting to work the way up on traffic. Tony pulls. Nope, Tony puts it back on. That puts Tony down to eighth. Doc up to seventh. Doc's got the leader coming up behind him. Tony pops it into the wall. Distressed. Trouble for Lewis there. Going to let Doc close in on him. Doc's got the leaders behind him, though. Ty and Chris fighting it out. Chris trying to find a spot to get by. Oh, Chris puts it up on two wheels to try to catch him through the sweeper. That's going to let Jeremy close in on him. But they're trying to put a lap on Doc. Trouble for our second. That puts Bono up to second now as Chris Henthorne falls to third. Doc lets Ty by. Bono in that second, and that burgundy and peach down the straightaway through the sweeper. Chris Henthorne now going to get pressure from Keith Lewis. Keith in that yellow and blue right behind Chris in the white. So it is Ty trying to get that bump to the B main. Bono puts it up on a wheelie. Chris Henthorne now closing on him. Second, third, and fourth. Oh, they both roll. Keith Lewis up to second now as Bono goes to third and Henthorne down to fourth. Henthorne going to get pressure from Mark Thomas here soon as he has got Lewis behind him. Mark Thomas. So Mark onto the straightaway, Lewis onto the straightaway. Keith Lewis up into that second spot from the bump position. So if anything happens to our leader, Keith Lewis looking for that bump spot as he has got about a 3.8 second gap now to the leader. Looks like Mark Thomas and Lewis fighting it out there for that fifth and sixth onto the straightaway. Your leader, though, onto the straightaway. That is Ty. Works his way through the sweeper. Trouble in front of the driver's stand for Lewis. The leader goes by him. Thank you, sir. Trouble for Doc. Keith Lewis works his way by Doc. Oh, Henthorne trying to put a move on Bono for third and fourth. Bono right there in front of the white of Henthorne. Oh, Bono rolls it. Henthorne takes position.
1 minute left.
So it is Ty, Keith, Chris, Jeremy, Mark, Lewis, Doc, and Tony out. Ty worked still a 3.6 second gap.
45
Holding
seconds
strong
left.
here. Keith only 2.2 up on Henthorne. Henthorne looking to put a lap on Doc. Looks like Bono now some distance back to Chris, about
30
2.1.
seconds left.
Doc gets out of the way for Henthorne to get by to chase down Keith. Doc in that 7th spot. He is about 5 seconds behind Lewis. Trouble for Chris. Lets
15
Bono
seconds
close in
left.
on him. Trouble for Lewis. So Lewis having a little trouble there, but he's got some distance still, 2.2 seconds, as now Ty 4.8 out in the lead. Could just sit back on his last lap because Lewis, you're
Lewis
done.
Chris Henthorne
Ty
done.
getting the bump to
Doc
the
done.
B. Lewis
Jeremy
bringing it
Bono
home in
done.
2nd. Chris 3rd.
Mark
Jeremy
Thomas
4th.
done.
Mark 5th.
Tyshaun
Lewis
Soeung
in
done.
6th. And Doc
Lewis
in
Forrest
7th.
done.
Wow,
All
what a race.
drivers are finished.
Phew.